Welcome back to the channel. We have another nice, I guess decent day here in Indiana. We've got rain coming in, so I need to get some grass planted. Yeah, grass planted in June in Indiana, almost July. So it's very easy to do actually, as long as you give it 3 different things, which we'll talk about in this video. But basically it's good soil, seed, fertilizer, and definitely water. So we're going to fire up the B2650. Gonna head over and put the front end loader on this thing. Now, like I've said in other videos, I love this tractor, and I've got 3 different attachments for it. I got the front end loader, I've got the box blade, and I've got the mower deck. And I love all 3 of those attachments. I think they're must-haves for a property of this size, but hooking them all up sucks. It really does. It doesn't take long. I hooked the loader up pretty simple, pretty easy. It takes about maybe 5 minutes. The back blade's a little bit more of a work, so I don't have the easy hitch. The mower deck is horrible, but it's nice to have the tools to do the jobs I need to do. So let's head to the backyard over by the Smokehouse. This is where I'm going to work today. If you saw a previous video, I'll put up here at the top. I did a swale back here a couple weeks ago. I watched rain and water, and then nothing's really standing in the area, so now I think it's time to grass it and finish that particular area off. I'm trying to get the Smokehouse done and this entire area around the Smokehouse done before our big harvest party this fall. So this is important to get the grass in now, so it has a good month and a half before I get the grapes ready to be harvested. Plan on having a bunch of people over, they'll get together type thing. Got a big pile of dirt from the swale. We're going to be spreading that out and putting the seed and the fertilizer and straw down. Hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you subscribe. It helps me out dramatically with the channel.
Okay, so we're back here behind the Smokehouse. You saw a previous video, I put the swale in. It's draining well. It's a little wet in there, but nothing major. Once I get grass, I'll suck it up. I planted that not too long ago, maybe 7 days ago. You can see how good it came in, mainly because the sprinklers. I put a little fertilizer on there, and boom, it's up. So that won't be long. I'll probably be mowing that in a week. So my goal is today, real quick, is to just go ahead and connect some grass to the other side over here. The main reason why I'm grassing this, I don't need any more grass, but when the fertilized guy comes, he doesn't know how to get to the other side. I mean, he can always go through here and maybe it's a trail, but I think it'll just look a lot better if I just put grass in here and let him just come around with his fertilizer and just fertilize that little area and keep it nice and soft around the Smokehouse. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to top off some topsoil on this area a little bit, sprinkle a little bit on there. I've got rain coming in, so ideally if I can get the topsoil down, it doesn't look too wet, I'll get it down, spray it out with a rake, fertilize seed and straw it real quick. Supposed to get a little dose of rain here in about maybe an hour or 2. Get it wet, let it pack down, and then maybe just keep an eye on it, keep it wet. It is kind of a shady area, but it does get a lot of sun. There is a break in the trees right there, so this actually gets a lot of afternoon sun here. So the grass should grow good. Oh, I'm gonna get to work. Hope you enjoy watching. Okay, here we go. I got the topsoil down. Now the reason why I put topsoil down is real simple. It's easy to spread. In Indiana we have what they call clay, which is really thick and dense, and it doesn't break down to little pebbles like that. And then we have topsoil, and topsoil lays like this, real nice and neat, easy to spread. I do have some chunks, it's a little bit wet, but nothing major. Nothing water, rain can't knock down. But all I did was put a thin layer, maybe an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches on there, all the way down. You can see my grade. I got some tree stumps and stuff sticking out, but that will die over time, or I'll just pluck them as I see them. But looks like I got a really good fall here. Obviously the rain proved that it works. So now it's just a matter of spreading the seed, the fertilizer, and the straw. Let me get a sip of coffee. Trying to beat the rain here. I think they're calling for quite a bit. So, couldn't find my spreader, but this area is not that big, so I'm gonna do it by hand. And I go generous. I get this seed from Tractor Supply. Did my entire yard. It's tall fescue. The beauty about that is it's kind of drought resistant. In Indiana, we have a lot of Kentucky bluegrass, which is kind of the old school grass seed, to be honest with you. It looks great. Spring and winter, it looks really, really good. But the middle of the summer in Indiana, the Kentucky bluegrass yards are usually pretty brown, if you know what I mean. It dies out, it goes dormant in the summertime. It comes back, I mean, it always comes back, but in the long run, it looks like crap. Here we are in June. Now it's been kind of wet, actually late June. It's been kind of wet here, but the my grass, if you look out front here, is really nice. It doesn't ever go brown. It stays green, maybe a little lime color green, but it pretty much stays green all the time. It's drought resistant, and then it really grows well in the fall is where I see my most growth with the fescue, tall fescue. It's groundwork, ultra premium tall fescue grass seed mix. Like I said, I did my entire yard around the house and out in the field out there. I did it all with this stuff, and then I fertilized it with the fertilizer. I think I used their fertilizer, and it was a starter fertilizer, Groundworks fertilizer. Got it at Tractor Supply here in Indiana too. But today all I have is 12-12-12 from Menards, which worked. You know what? I think it's a starter actually. I forgot. Yeah, that is a starter, so it's not 12-12-12-12. So a lot of this stuff's left over from patches and stuff. Repairs I've done. Well, this big bag's left over from the yard, so hopefully the seed works. Actually, I know it works because over there I just planted that stuff 7 days ago, and look at it now, it's taken off. And like I said, I'll be mowing that here in about a week or two, as long as I keep the water on it. Now the only issue I got with back here, I don't have any sprinklers back here, so I think I have an extra line, meaning I know I have a sprinkler line right there. That's my main line there. The big question is, do I have the wire to control the valve if I want to put sprinklers through this area? And I may not, because it is shaded some of the times, or most of the time it's shaded, I guess, or maybe it probably gets 4 or 5 hours of sun. So what that means, it's not gonna go dry too quick. But if I remember right, I think I wish I would have ran a lot more wires in my sprinkler conduit, but I didn't. But I think I've got one ran there. And I may end up putting a sprinkler back here because I think I ran the wire for the drip irrigation for the smokehouse, and I already hooked up the drip irrigation to the existing drip irrigation that was already over here in the patio area. So I'm likely, if I got that wire in there, then maybe why not just put a valve in here and put some small sprinklers and give me a little, I mean small sprinklers, it's not gonna take much, but you know, just to keep the grass looking good. And the rest of the yard has it, so that's pretty much it, man. I just eyeball this. Like, obviously you see me, I'm talking and spreading this shit, stuff as I go, excuse my language, but it's nothing crazy. Now what I like to do, it doesn't matter if you step on it, actually it probably helps it a little bit. That's plenty of grass seed. Now the birds will probably eat some of it, more likely, but I don't have a ton of birds here anyway, so what I'm simply gonna do here is just use the rake and just kind of brush over it just a little bit, barely even touching it, just to kind of help get some of that contact with the seed in the topsoil. I don't want to move it too much because I want to spread my seed out where there's no seed in one spot, which can happen. But the good thing about the fescue, well, I guess one of the bad things about the fescue is it doesn't grow into each other too much like the Kentucky bluegrass. And this is one of the advantages of the Kentucky bluegrass, is it will grow into itself, so it will fill voids on its own. With fescue, it doesn't like to do that. It'll grow some, obviously the plant will grow, but it doesn't travel really well. It's more of an upright grass. But with that said, if you look around my yard, if you've seen my yard in other videos, my yard looks really nice, I think, and it doesn't have big voids in it. Now I got some over here for the fact that I had a septic overflow. I forgot to clean out the filter on it, and this winter the fluids actually overflowed into here, and it killed this grass here. And I planted that this spring. It didn't come up as nice as I thought, mainly because I didn't top it off with topsoil. I just roughed it up, but I may come back and fix that. Now I'm planting in June, late June, which in most places it's probably not a go. It's so hot. But if you keep it wet, it's not an issue at all, period. The key is water. Now it may burn out because the roots aren't very deep, but they'll come back. Meaning burn out, meaning like basically go dormant. But that's just because the roots aren't deep enough to get the water it needs to stay green and active. So fertilizer, you gotta be a little bit more careful with fertilizer, and it's hard to see too. So I'm just eyeballing this. Especially, you want to be really careful right now in June and July, because you will burn up a grass. But like I said, I think, let's double check. Yeah, starter fertilizer, 18-24-6. Everybody sells it. Just get the cheapest stuff. You know, you're just looking for the numbers. I would assume that's probably a starter fertilizer number, that 24-18-6 or whatever. But everybody sells it. Get the cheapest stuff on the market. Doesn't matter. Now the only concern I got with this is, you know, I do have a professional treat my yard, mainly because he gives me a heck of a deal on it, and I can't do it cheaper than he can do it. And I do it around the house like 4 or 5 times a year. They do my fertilizer. Now Indiana, that's very common. I know some states are like, oh, that's too much. Indiana, it's not uncommon to have a, you know, 5 to 7 applications throughout the growing year for your yard. Well, the only concern I got with this fertilizer in this yard and these new seedings is when that guy comes, he's aggressive with the fertilizer, so I'm always worried that he's gonna burn something up that's new. It's never happened, so maybe he uses common sense, or he just knows he's not gonna hurt it. But it kind of scares me a little bit for the fact that, you know, I don't want my grass to get burned off because it had too much fertilizer. But it's never happened before, so he's probably due back probably within the next couple of weeks. Probably he'll be back here. If he comes, I'll get him on camera. He's a great guy. His name's Andy, from a local landscaping company here in town. My boy works there, but they do a phenomenal job. And like I said, I can't do it cheaper. I used to do my own because I could do it cheaper, but I just can't compete. So I do the 4 or 5 applications around the house area itself, and then the field area out front where the vineyard and all that is, they do that twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. Okay, I got her all down. I used the easy straw on this portion just because it's more visible from the house. And I saved a little bit of easy straw. I only went through about maybe a quarter, a third of the bag. Got plenty of that left for patching. So like I said, it lays really nice and flat. So I'll use that in the yard and patches area and areas I want to patch. And then I use that big clumpy straw, the traditional farmer straw, towards the end here, where most of the water is going to be anyway. So it might be a good thing to put there. So I'm going to fire up the sprinklers.
That's a wrap. If you like these types of videos, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Please share with family and friends. And like I always say, I appreciate you spending time with the Home Pro Hero.